So I watched a movie called let's see here. Um, yeah, I'm gonna mention it later because it's a really bad movie. But um, the only good thing is the actor called Krenna, which was the Colonel in Rambo movies. Is the only good thing about it. But basically, um, I want to talk about psychological reasons to traumas and traumatization. And the main reason why that may happen to people is, I think it's two reasons at least, on a very, what I imagine would lead to the whole traumas for years, maybe 1 or 2 years, 2 years, 2 years at tops. I think either rape or blackmail. I think those are the two reasons for psychological traumas. And the way that you break it, or you kind of go more and more out of it, is you try to find weaknesses that you kind of go out of, in a sense. So, but the way that a socialist authoritarian works is to kind of rely on doctors forever and just be like a social mental patient instead of trying to read books or trying to figure out the psychological impact, or how to say it. Uh, maybe the better word is when you are blackmailed, or if a rape occurs, and that's really bad. But what it does send to your brain is your unprepared brain from birth to teenage years or young adult. What they experience is you just living your life. So when something like this happens, it sends shockwaves to your brain, and that's the nightmare part, or the torture part. That it kind of you just kind of you in a sense stop eating right. You just gonna give up on life, and that's in a sense what this does to you. It's a shockwave effect of something you just couldn't fathom would happen to you, and it just happened. That's kind of what this does. It's really that is the problem. It's not about being sensitive or being learning some socialist moral lesson or anything like that. It's about tackling the issues of how to break out of that mentality. And the way to do it is, I think, when you are like a young adult, you may be more carefree and not think about those philosophical or psychological issues about life. But I'm not saying that. I don't think philosophy is going to solve it, though. But I think that's make it worse, actually. But the point is, though, is that it's a shockwave effect that is the problem. That's really the bad attitude, and so you got to find weaknesses to become strong, so that you can remove the things that bothers you, and ways how to solve the problems. And that's the problem. I think it's not something that can be solved simple, because you got to find the origin of the problem and then just remove it away from what bothers you. Maybe I'm not saying I don't think confronting it, at least not in the way in the cliche movie does it, is the way to do it. Like, let's say you're scared of caves. Oh, then you go into the cave and you're not scared anymore. Like, that's not. I don't think that's gonna solve it. Right? But maybe, like, let's say that you learn about caves and you understand the effect of it. Okay, then you suddenly you understand it more, and that's how you break free. I think understanding it and trying to find answers for the crap that you experience. I think that's actually how you actually break the spell, and then you aren't really you become less traumatized by whatever affected you. And I think that's a way to cure it. Is You just gotta read up upon it. Knowledge is power, as they say. So that's how traumatization, I think, actually gets solved. And I guess revenge by some people, but um, I'm not so I can't answer that one. But yeah, I think really just knowing about the subject actually cures more the problems you had. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna go totally away, but it's at least gonna make you stand up and, you know, just not sit down and be sad all the time. And now that I've talked about it and the cause and effect of it, I'm gonna talk about the horrible movie I saw because the moral lessons in that one was so bad. I feel like it was written by a socialist or something. It's called The Rape of Richard Beck. It's a movie from TV movie from 1985. I saw it recently and it was so awful. Like basically the moral of the story is it's about a guy who who in a sense doesn't take rape seriously, and I mean he's not really a totally bad guy, but he is kind of like a person who kind of gaslights the problems with not caring enough about it. But it's a terrible moral story uh, because when he eventually gets raped himself, and he kind of tries to get out of it in a sense, the other one who is like anti-rape is like they treat him like absolute garbage, you know, like like these are supposed to be the heroes, you know, like that's and he completely misses the point of the cause and effect situation. Is the idea that when something really traumatizing thing happens, the way to solve it is really to figure it out and just get out of it. And the movie just doesn't touch it at all. And it just has this very preachy, very bad. It's just so bad. Like even in the end of the movie, it's like, oh, it could be your wife. It could be, and yeah, no, no, no surprise. Yeah, it could be. That's common sense. So it's like it's the worst movie I've ever seen. I mean, the only good part is sadly that the actor who played in Rambo, the Colonel um, um, Krenna, he's the only good part of it, and I'm so sad that I saw that guy in this movie. It's so sad because he's not a bad actor, you know. So yeah, but the movie is so horrible, and yeah, it's like the moral story. If they can't tell the moral story of cause and effect of traumatization, they should at least just tell it on an objective level. Objective level, like the reason rape is bad is because you can be killed. That's why it's bad. I mean, being raped is more like a nightmare. I can totally get the psychological effect of that, and that's what I mean. It's the shockwave it sends. If you have never experienced it before, that's like it's like it's like you're being prone with something that confuses you and it kind of just destroys you. That's why it's bad. The shockwaves it sends. That's why it's bad. But they just don't. They can't. It's like they're so out of touch. This movie, I hated it. You know, but if they can't tell that, then they should just make it about the reason rape is bad is because you can be killed, and that's the objective fact of rape, because it's not a situation you want to be in because you can actually die. That's why it's bad. You know, they can be total degenerates and horrible people. You know, and that's why it's bad. That's why you never want to be in that situation at all. But yeah, that's what I want to say. I just want to make a little bit serious video about this. Thank you for listening and bye.